Now when declaring variables in Visual Basic, they can be declared explicitly or implicitly. That means if I were to declare my variables explicitly, that means as a programmer, I'll be the one specifically telling the compiler or telling Visual Basic where to store my variable and what type of variable is it I'm dealing with. So that is explicitly declaring it. So I am saying I need a variable of integer type. Yeah, so that gives me the name on the size. If I allow Visual Basic to determine for me the type of variable and the size, then that one is called implicit, where the program itself reads what type of data you want to store. So it creates a variable with that kind of information that it has. So if you're working on integers, it may store those values in an integer variable, or it may store them as a variant because you have not explicitly declared. You have allowed it to declare it for you, so it is implicit declaration. When we are declaring variables, we use the word dim, dimension. So you say dim, then the variable name as the data type you want. So if I'm storing names, I can say dim str names as strings. The word as strings, simply you're saying let that variable store strings. Or if I'm storing integers, I can dim and say dim number as integer. If I'm dealing with singles, floating numbers, I'll say dim, maybe dim temperature as single. If I'm dealing with salary, I can say dim my salary as currency. So use the dim to explicitly declare your variable. Now variables they have scopes. Scope means where are they going to operate? Are you restricting them, or you are just allowing them to be available in any code? So that is called scoping. To what extent are they supposed to be used and where? So in Visual Basic we have 3 scopes. We have the local scope, whereby a variable is available within a function where it is working or where it is declared. So if you're working on a function and you want your variable to just be used inside the function, it becomes a local scope, a local variable declaration. You can also have a module level. Module level means a variable can be available across a module. And we understand the module is made up of different functions and procedures. So that means that variable can be available within all other procedures in your module. Then you can have a global variable that is going to be available everywhere in your program. So that is a global variable. You may have a global variable maybe like pi, or even you may have your name as a global variable because probably it's going to be available in other codes. So those are the scoping of variables we have, and you have to get used to. Sometimes also Visual Basic has given us a provision to dictate that a variable has to be declared. You use the word option explicit. So when you go to the menu on the VB, so under the menu item, there you can tick the option explicit, means that it will require a variable to be declared before it can be used. I want to stop there. We shall have some other lectures on error and debugging and file handling and what have you. God bless you.